Welcome to NASC 102, Introduction to Meteorology. My name is Paul Castleberry, and I'll be facilitating this course this summer. I am really excited to start the semester, and what I'll do for this particular video is I'll take you around our Scholar site. So what you're looking at currently is what is available from the student view, what you would see on our Scholar site. You'll see that I have the required textbook, which is the Essentials of Meteorology. I'm okay with any of these editions that you would like to use. So you'll need to secure one of those. You can go to the Simpson bookstore, order from there. Or other third-party affiliates. Here's some contact information for me. Feel free to contact me by phone, email, Zoom. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few moments. So let's go right into our online syllabus. I'd like to just spend a couple of minutes going through a few items with the syllabus itself. So you see, here's the title of the course, the designation, some information about me, how to contact me. This link here for Zoom should be active. I'm just testing it here. And we can actually do Zoom through Scholar, and I'll go ahead and link that directly to that here in a little while. We have 6 objectives of this, and really just to kind of summarize what I'm looking for in this particular course is for you to learn how to do science, specifically meteorology. And I want you to learn how to be able to analyze weather charts, how to be able to look at the sky, how to be able to look at other resources such as television, the web, all of these items to help you build skills to do science, specifically meteorology. To accomplish that, we're going to use items such as weather forecast, which will be a big part of this course. Yes, you will be making weather forecasts. You'll learn how to make weather forecasts. In fact, the first part of this course, the first 3 to 4 weeks, we are heavy duty into the forecasting, learning how to forecast, learning how to read specific maps. All of those things, I will take you step by step through the forecasting method. We'll also be using some real-world simulations. I believe simulations are a valuable way to learn how to do science, and so we will be doing that as well. And basically, number 6, you learn science by doing, right? To go learn something, the research has shown that you need to get your hands into it, need to get your mental acumen into it, to be able to work with problems, to struggle with problems, and to eventually be able to solve those types of problems. Now, this particular course, in terms of the Engaged Citizenship curriculum, the areas of engagement are scientific reasoning and quantitative reasoning. So this course satisfies both of those particular areas. And I would hope you would spend some time going through this particular table and seeing how the specific exercises that we do within the course map to specific learning objectives, and then how those will be evaluated that you see right here. So spend a couple of minutes to read through that. Same thing with quantitative reasoning. We will be taking data, we'll be working with that data, with simulations, with forecasting, with labs, those types of things we will be using to help build your quantitative reasoning skills. The course design. This course is an online course, and it's just like if you were in a face-to-face course. You'll be spending the same amount of hours per week just like you would in a face-to-face class. The way that I've worked this out, you'll be spending on average about 9 hours per week, which if you were to, let's say, take 6 days, that would be about an hour and a half a day that you would be spending on this. I've broken it down into areas such as the lecture activities. We'll be doing approximately 56 hours of those, and the lecture activities will be all on video. And here's what I would recommend for lecturers. As you're viewing the videos, I also provide PowerPoint slides. You might want to go ahead and print out those PowerPoint slides and take notes right along with the lecture activities. When I say take notes, typically what I mean is jotting down ideas or concepts that as you're going through the videos and you're having difficulty with, write those down. Okay, that's a great way that you can let me know which areas of the lecture that you're struggling with on this particular areas. With weather forecasting, we'll be doing about 40 hours in this course. Group discussion topics, 9 hours. Readings from the text, about 14 hours for the entire semester. Homeworks, assignments, quizzes, exams, we'll be spending about 16 hours total for the course. This is not per week. These are totals for the course. So 56 hours of the course will be spent with lecture activities. And then I have a term paper that you'll be doing toward the end of the semester, which will take about 9 hours. So the total is about 144, it's not about, it is 144 hours that you'll be spending working in this course. Some of the areas that we'll be covering here: energy. And the concept of energy is really, really critical to understand. I'll be quite honest with you, energy is probably not the most exciting topic when you take an introduction to meteorology class, but the energy, specifically the energy from the sun, drives the weather here on Earth. And so it's a good idea that we kind of understand what causes the weather and what factors play a role in our weather. We'll cover temperature, atmospheric moisture, stability and cloud development. You've heard of El Nino. Right now we are in a weak El Nino period, so you'll actually learn what we mean by El Nino. We'll talk about thunderstorms and tornadoes. That's a big topic here in the Midwest. And then hurricanes. Now, while hurricanes here are not, we don't get direct effects from hurricanes. We might get some moisture thrown up from a hurricane up into Iowa, but really the effects are nil. But I've always found that in this course, that is a very popular topic because you might be traveling to the coast, down to the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic. And so it might be a good idea to know a little bit about hurricanes. Now, the course itself, we have basically 6 parts to it. Like I mentioned, we'll have the online lectures, labs, activities, discussions for the course that runs May 28th through August 18th. We'll also have some supplemental materials from time to time as I find interesting and new topics that come up in meteorology. I'll put up onto Scholar some links to short articles that I think you might find interesting, and we could use those articles for our group discussions. Okay, so that's something I'll put in there because I kind of want to keep things fresh and interesting, and topics in meteorology are coming up all of the time. Weather forecasting. Man, this is the really fun part of the course. Okay, the feedback that I've had from previous semesters from students, they have loved the weather forecasting. But the first couple of weeks, while you are learning how to forecast the weather, it may be a little, it'll be a little tough because you're getting introduced to something new. You may not really enjoy forecasting the first week or two, but trust me, after that, once you have the tools in your tool belt, in other words, when you know which maps to look at, how to analyze these maps, And we will use labs to help you learn how to analyze these weather maps and charts. You'll begin to greatly enjoy weather forecasting. I'll have you do at least 30 of these. We'll do at least 30 days in the semester of forecast, and we'll use a part of that for your forecasting grade. And the thing is, I'm going to use your 30 best forecast scores. So if you forecast 60 days of the semester, I'm not saying you have to, but anything over 30 forecasts, I begin to replace the lowest scores on your forecast with those higher scores. So let's say you do 35 or 40 forecasts. So you forecast for 35 or 40 days. I will take your 30 best forecast scores and use that for your forecasting. We'll have homeworks, assignments, forecast, all on Scholar. We'll have discussion topics. I say discussion topics with me. I have in the past have done discussion topics one-on-one with the student, but this semester I need to change this. I need to update this. This is going to be the only group work in terms of discussion topics that you'll be doing, and I'll actually have discussion topics with you and 3 others in your group. We have 8 students in this course, and I'm thinking about dividing the groups up into 2 groups of 4 each. And so within your group of 4, you'll be participating in group discussion topics. And then as I see the discussion topics begin to mature and to begin to grow, then I will also follow up with questions about what you've posted as well. So really it'll be me and your group having a group discussion on this. We'll also have exams and any other assignments that I deem necessary, so I can add some additional assignments if I see necessary on that to make sure that you're understanding the concepts presented here. Again, the required texts, you see right there, any of those additions for the essentials of meteorology will be fine. Weather forecasting, I said you'll be making at least 30 forecasts. Actually, I'll be using your 25 best forecast scores. I had said earlier I was going to use your best 30, but I'm going to have you make at least 30 forecasts, and I will use your best 25. So the key is to make forecasts. Probably to start off with, I'd probably do 2 to 3 forecasts a week for the first couple of weeks. And again, I'm going to teach you how to forecast the weather. We're going to use laboratory exercises early on to learn how to make weather forecasts. Okay, exams, assignments, makeup. Basically, there's no makeup policy. I put these weekly modules out on Scholar at least 6 days in advance. And as we get a little bit deeper into the course, let's say by the 4th or 5th week, then I'll go ahead and put the next 3 weeks up at a time. So the opportunity is there for those of you that wish to work ahead in the course. You'll have that opportunity. You're not required to work ahead, but you have the option to work ahead on that. Grading scale. It's about accumulating points. In this course, if you accumulate at least 925 points, you will have earned an A in this course. Now, I say this every semester. My goal, I would love to have a class that everyone in the course has earned an A. So far, that hasn't happened. Grades have been good in this class. I see a lot of A's, B's, a few C's, and then occasionally maybe a D or F, and those D's or F's are because the students have just stopped submitting assignments, they've stopped doing exams, they've stopped doing quizzes, they've basically checked out of the course. But here's the breakdown. For an A minus, anywhere between 924 and 895 points nets you an A minus. And you can go through and look at the rest of the breakdown. Anything below a 595 is an F. Okay, so here are the points that we have up here. And so you can earn those points with online quizzes. I have 4 quizzes, and each of the quizzes are worth 40 points. 4 quizzes worth 40 points each, totals out to 160 total points. You see here the online assignments, problem sets, homeworks. I have 12 of those, with each of these worth 10 points. So a total points of 120. And we can just go down the line here. But notice the laboratory assignments, the labs, which is where I think the best learning in this course comes from, because you learn how to do science by taking the principles that you've learned in the lectures and applying them to real world meteorological problems. We have 7 of those labs, and each lab is worth 50 points for a total of 350 points. So 35% of your grade in this course comes from the lab assignments. 20% of the course total comes from forecasting activity. You see 200 points there. You need a minimum of 30 forecasts, okay? And so we've got the forecasting activity here is worth 200 total points on there. Term paper, it's a one term paper, 4-page paper, worth 50 points. And then if you total all of these points here, you end up with 1,000 total points. You see here communication. I actually have a daytime job at Iowa State University where I work in the College of Engineering. I'll mention that a little bit in my intro video about myself here in just a couple of minutes. But you see information related to that, to the academic integrity policy, and any students needing any disability accommodations, please let me know as soon as possible. There's information there as well. Okay, there in a nutshell is the syllabus for NASC 102, summer 2019.